Hello everybody, I'm talking to you from my Tesla Model 3. It's Thursday afternoon in Milan, a very hot Thursday afternoon, 33 degrees, but it definitely feels like more than that. And I've come to the car to set up the GPS navigation for a trip we're gonna take on Saturday, which is going to take us all the way down to southern Italy on the coast below Naples, where we're gonna spend a week holiday at the seaside. And you might be wondering, if you've seen some of my other videos on the channel, why would I pick the Tesla to drive down there? It's an almost 900 kilometers drive, and of course then the drive back. And there are two main reasons why I'm doing this. The first one is that the place we're staying is at the top of a very steep alley, and none of my lower and more rigid cars would fare particularly well on that alley, and I wouldn't want any damage to their clutch while we're driving back and forth from the B&B. And the second reason is that I do feel more comfortable going a bit under the radar in that area. It's very touristic, so there's a lot of people around, and I don't really want to draw too much attention, which would happen if I was to drive there in the Porsche or the Aston Martin, or you know, it goes unsaid. The Tesla is not a really popular car in those areas, but it's just basically a big regular modern sedan, so I feel safer that way. As you can see, we're gonna stop 4 times to recharge, although the fourth one, this one close to Naples, it's a stop that wouldn't be needed to get to destination. I just prefer to stop there because I want to have as much charge as possible when I'm at the destination, because once we get there we can only rely on the local slower charging network. And although I've recharged there many times in the past, you cannot rely on it 100%. There might be gasoline cars parked in the stalls, or some charging station might not be working. So I would rather get there with as much charge as I can in the battery and then be more relaxed, even if we take a small drive around while we're there. So this is basically it for the time being, and we're gonna talk again on Saturday when we pack the car and get inside and start driving. So take care until then. Good morning. It's 5:45 in the morning. We left very early. We are on our way leaving Milan, and the first stop, it's supposed to be Modena in 1 hour and a half. We'll get there with half the battery. So I don't know if maybe the GPS is gonna change its mind on the way. It's 24 degrees, it's pleasant, there's already a lot of people driving, so let's hope we do not meet too much traffic on the way. And we'll talk to you later with our next update. So it's 6:30 and we're already stuck in traffic. We're still moving, but I really didn't expect so many people to be on the road at this time of day. And at least the GPS navigation has changed its mind, like I thought. So we're not gonna stop in Modena anymore, it seems, but we're gonna go a bit further to Barberino del Mugello, and there's a quite nice mall there where we're probably gonna have coffee while we're in charge. And it's gonna be almost 2 hours though to get there, plus any additional traffic that we might encounter. But at least it's still relatively cool outside, it's enjoyable. cars and pull through. Hello, we're back. We're at the first stop of our route in Barberino, and we're gonna be charging for about 15 minutes, but maybe more if we take a walk and get a coffee and want to hang out a bit. So this first part of the trip was okay, I would say. Some traffic, and one thing you probably have noticed by watching the time-lapse part of the trip is that in Italy most drivers feel like they're not entitled to drive on the right lane, that the right lane is scattered with landmines or something, so nobody is using that unless they drive a truck or a bus, which means that the 4-lane highway is actually, for all intents and purposes, a 3-lane highway, and that makes traffic a bit worse than it would otherwise be. But besides that, there's nothing to complain. It went pretty smoothly, and now we're ready to go inside the mall, which is right here behind me, and we're gonna have a coffee and just a bit of a stop. So everything's closed. We're not gonna have any coffee or anything. We're just gonna walk around a bit because everything opens at 10 and it's only 8:30. So good luck with that. As we're finishing with our charge, I'll just show you some statistics about this first leg of the trip. The consumption is a bit less than the lifetime average of the car. Temperature probably helped because it's still 25 degrees, and everything else is pretty much as planned. So we did 280 kilometers in this first leg, and the next one is going to be another 245. And the supercharger that we're going to use next, it's not one we particularly like. We only stopped there once. It has very good reviews, but it was very busy. There were gasoline cars parked in some of the stalls, so we didn't really get a good impression of it. But it seems the quickest and easiest way, and since the trip is quite long, then I think we're gonna settle for that. That's the GoPro, which is taking care of the time lapse that you're seeing, and this of course is the wind cap, which we're not gonna use today. And it's gonna be just a few more minutes before we can resume the trip, so we'll check in next time from Magliano Sabina. Hello again. We had to make an unexpected stop because the previous place was all closed and we did want some coffee, so we stopped at the service station, and boy, that was busy, and it's not even peak season or anything. Now we're back stuck in traffic, and it's gonna be 2 more hours until the next recharging station, so hopefully not 2 hours all like these, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like there's just gonna be a couple of spots of traffic, and then the rest should be smooth. So talk to you later. Supercharger at Magliano Sabina, and one of the reasons why we didn't like it the last time is that the access is through a very narrow street which is bordered by cars parked on both sides. So let's see if we remember it well and it's still like that. It's actually here. There's the charger, there it is. So let's see. This is the little alley to get there, and yeah, cars are still parked in both ways. The last time we got here, there must have been some party celebration in the restaurant because it was much more packed. And the actual recharging area is this one, so yeah, not as bad as the other time, obviously. We're gonna park here and stay here for a little bit. Check in again later. Hello again. We're still in Magliano Sabina recharging, and the news is that we're gonna do an additional stop that wasn't planned before in Ceprano, and there's a very nice restaurant there that we generally go to on our way back from the south. We'll happen to arrive there around 1 p.m. so we'll see how hungry we are and whether to stop there or not. Hello again. We're in Mercato San Severino, and there's a surprise for us. For the first time ever since I have a Tesla, all the stalls are taken. There's one out of order, and there's already one car in line. So this is unexpected, and it's gonna take some time. I hope not too much. We did charge fully at the previous stop, and we didn't check in because there we were actually running out of time because the car was almost entirely charged and we were still eating, so we didn't check in. We're doing it now, and we are hoping that the wait is going to be short. It's 5 cars charging, so we'll see. Hi guys, good morning. It's been a few hours since we last checked in. So what happened is that we did recharge in the end. We arrived at destination and we were really tired and really hungry, so we just washed up and went to get Majestic Pizza and had a good night's sleep, and we took a morning swim and breakfast. So now we're back to life, and I'm reporting again from the inside of the Tesla. So to start, just a statistic of this first part of the trip. I think the average consumption is pretty much what I expected. It's in line with the lifetime consumption of the car. This was mostly highway. You see 1,000 kilometers. I think 85-90% of that was highway, and the rest was some local roads, some hills, 50, 60, up to 80 kilometers per hour. So that was the usage for this trip. And the one thing that I noticed is that we didn't have to adjust our speed on the highway. Usually with the Tesla I drive safely. I drive around 115, 120. I'm very conservative when I'm in the Tesla. This time the trip was very long, so I figured I might as well go at the speed limit, so 130, 135, which is actual 130 with the GPS. And I didn't notice anything particular in terms of consumption, so I guess I will be doing that for the way back. And one other thing I noticed actually is that I've been using a different camera for the commentary on the way here, and I noticed that that camera doesn't really hold the settings. So basically I did set it up with the image stabilization, but I would have had to do that every single time I turned the camera on, or actually my wife turned the camera on, and I didn't know about that. So most of the footage we recorded is a bit shaky, but well, lesson learned, and a possible suggestion for a firmware upgrade in the future. The camera, by the way, is from Akaso, and it's I think V50 Pro. But now I'm back with the GoPro for this recording, and today we're gonna hit some village nearby. We'll do a bit of walking. We'll probably get a coffee in the main square and just soak in the life. It's a working day here, so we don't expect too many tourists. We expect it to be quiet, so looking forward to that. And I'll be checking in again soon. Take care. Hello, we are here recharging. The first attempt failed. We were in Pisciotta and we tried the recharger there, but it looked brand new, like just installed, but it wasn't active, so we couldn't do anything with it. So we drove a little bit further, or actually back towards where we're staying, and we're in Caprioli now. And this charging station we've used before once. Most of the other times we just saw internal combustion cars parked, so it wasn't usable. We are using it now. It's quite slow. It's set at 7 kilowatts, and there's also a warning from the car charging slowed, but it's working. At least we're not particularly in a hurry, so we're just gonna put maybe some 10% just to be on the safe side for the rest of the holiday. And we're probably gonna watch a movie or some TV series while we wait, because there's really nothing around here except some hardware store and houses, but no bar, no place to go really, so we'll be waiting here for a bit. And we're back home. We've actually been home for 24 hours now. We got here yesterday at 8 p.m. and I didn't document the trip back here because, well, that's generally and usually more depressing. We're leaving behind some wonderful places. There was not much to report actually. We took 1 hour less to drive back here than we did to drive down south. We probably wasted less time at the Superchargers. We arranged our schedule a bit better, but all in all, no traffic, no big issues, so we can consider ourselves quite lucky. And these are the stats for the whole trip. So we drove about 2,000 kilometers, and for an average consumption of 165 and something, pretty much as expected, pretty much in line with the performance of the car altogether. And the Tesla did well. It's no surprise, because we had taken the same trip in the same car 2 or 3 times already, but it does well. And the only thing that's really missing from this car, which is a 2020 model, to me, is the ventilated seats. I was thinking about it. That's the one option I would really like, and it's actually available on the present Model 3, because that can make a difference to me in a trip like this or any other time when I'm driving under the sun. Because with this kind of roof, and well, now you're seeing clouds because it just rained quite a bit, but with this kind of roof, when it's sunny out there and the car is under the sun for hours and hours, well, you know, it tends to get a bit hot, and ventilated seats would really make a difference. But besides that, the car did very well. We didn't have any trouble down there. We did recharge in the end just about 10% battery, and it was just for safety, because we would have made it even without that. We would have made it just with the Superchargers. But you know, I always like to be on the safe side. So we had an extra 10%. We arrived home eventually at 26, so plenty to go. What do I really bring back from this trip is that, as I said, the Tesla did well, but I really want to make this trip down south next year with a different car, with a convertible, because it's such a waste to be driving those roads and in that kind of weather and being stuck inside a car with a roof above your head. So that's really the plan for next year. And I don't know if I currently have in my garage the exact car that I would like to drive there. As I was telling you at the beginning of the trip, I don't want to draw any attention while I'm there. I want to go unnoticed as much as possible, and I have the issue of the steep alley to get to the B&B. So I think that it might be time to add something else, some new car in my garage for next year. Something we could take the trip in comfortably, something that would go relatively unnoticed there, something reliable, and something convertible, of course. So there's no car I would like to get rid of at the moment, and so I'll try not to, but at the same time I'll be looking for something reasonably cheap but reasonably reliable to take this trip in next year. And this is about it. So I hope you enjoyed this trip recollections and trip chronicle, and I'll make sure to upload more content of this kind in the future. Please let me know any feedback, any suggestion that you have. This was the very first attempt, so I know there's a lot to be improved upon, and starting maybe from some of the hardware I've used, and surely there's gonna be a lot of stuff to work on as I'm approaching now the editing phase. But I hope the finished product is at least viewable. So thank you all, and until next time, take care and drive safely.